So at this point, I was quite concerned. To this day, I still haven't really figured out what this charge is or how it came on my bank statement. The fact that your card details have been compromised and your security has been compromised, it's quite unnerving. It makes you feel quite uncomfortable. Hey guys, so after my banking nightmare video in France, I didn't think I'd be back with another financial nightmare story so soon, but here I am about to tell you about how my credit card was, I believe, compromised. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what happened, what you can do if you're affected by this, and what steps you can take to prevent it. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so this story starts, it was like the second week of January, so it was a Sunday evening, I was just chilling, get my phone out to check my banking apps, just have a look at all the different movements that have been going on in my bank account with my different cards. And all of a sudden, I noticed something a bit strange. I see a charge from Amazon Prime for 14 euros. So I immediately start racking my brains, have I bought anything off Amazon recently? Have I, subscribed to Amazon Prime and forgot to cancel the trial or something like that? And no, I hadn't bought anything recently on Amazon. I wasn't signed up to Prime on my own account. I also have my card details in my girlfriend's Amazon account, but we checked, and there was no orders or of the same date or of the same amount that it could have been. So at this point, I was quite concerned. I was like, what is this? And I just really couldn't figure it out. And to this day, I still haven't really figured out what this charge is or how it came on my bank statement. Fortunately, it's not a large amount. It's 14 euros. I'm not going to go broke over 14 euros. But, the fact that your card details have been compromised and your security has been compromised, it's quite unnerving. It makes you feel quite uncomfortable and somewhat scared in a sense as well. So I immediately called up my credit card provider to explain what had happened. As soon as I saw this charge, I actually managed to spot it about an hour after the charge was made as well. So I was fortunately very quick to pick that up. And the credit card provider was very good. The card was deactivated immediately, and I was sent out a new card. In the meantime, of course, I've claimed this charge back to my bank. The old card is cut up and gone, and there's also been a police report filed as well in order for me to be able to get my money back. So honestly, guys, because I have no idea what the charge is or how my card details got out there, I really don't know how this happened. All I know is that fortunately I was able to act in time and be able to put a stop to the card before any, bigger amounts or bigger purchases could have been made with the card. So I'm very fortunate in that sense. And I am pretty careful with how I store my information and, managing my data privacy. But, despite this being a mystery, somewhere along the line, my card information must have gone out there for someone to be able to make a purchase with it. Anyways, as they say, there's no point crying over spilt milk. So at this stage, I'm just glad that, I'm in the situation I am, and hopefully I will get that money back as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through those steps I took when I realized that something was wrong, so that you can take the same action as soon as you're aware that something's not right, and give yourself the best chance of getting your money back and preventing anything further from happening. So let's go. So the first thing, as I said, I was very fortunate that I spotted this very early, and that as I looked through my bank transactions, I knew that I couldn't match this up to any purchase that I'd made, and I didn't know what it corresponded to. So as soon as I clocked onto that, my first phone call, my immediate course of action was to call up the bank. Now, particularly in this day and age, banking fraud is becoming more and more common, and banks are stepping up their security in order to protect you from that. But, there is still a risk nevertheless. Depending on which country you're in and which bank you're with, they may or may not be able to help you get your money back, depending on, how much it is, how long it's been. So that's why it's really important to get in touch with them as soon as possible, because the sooner you tell them, the better the chance that they have of being able to do something about you getting that money back. And in a lot of mobile banking apps, particularly the neobanks, you have the ability to manage your card from the app. So you can freeze it, block it, unblock it from the app. So that's another step that you should do straight away, probably even before you call the bank, unless you can't do that as a first step, in which case you will need to call the bank to do it. Make sure that you do block your card so that no further transactions can be made with it. Right, so once you've reported it to the bank, of course, you're going to need a new card to be able to get on with it. Now, the bank probably will take that initiative for you, but just to be sure, make sure that a new card is on the way with different details than the previous card, so that the card can't be copied or cloned again or whatever. With your old card, what the bank asked me to do was to completely cut it up, going through the magnetic strip on it as well, so that it can no longer be used again for any further transactions. Next, make sure that your prompts in filling out any relevant paperwork to do with reclaiming the charge and reporting the incident. So most likely the bank will send you details of the movement, or they'll send you a form to fill out where you'll need to provide details of the movement, who the provider is, what date this movement took place, so that you can then reclaim that money to the bank, and then make sure that you're not responsible for a lack of security or whatever. If you have genuinely been scammed or hacked, then they probably will be able to help you get your money back. Again, this depending on the bank and which country you're in as well. And as part of the document process as well, in my case, I had to go to the police station and report this as a crime essentially. So that might be an extra step you need to take depending on where you live. Again, go to the police and file a report of the fraudulent charge in order for you to be able to get that money back. And so in this next part of the video, what I'm going to talk about are the preventative measures that you can take to stop something like this happening to you, or to at least limit the chance or the probability that it does happen to you. So tip number one is obviously a very common sense tip. Your card is yours. You shouldn't share it with other people. It is personal. Don't share its details with anyone online, etc., etc. And this seems like a common sense thing, like, well, duh, but just to make sure that you are the only one that has access to your card, your PIN, your information, all that kind of stuff. The second tip that I'll take and that I'm going to start doing is not saving any payment methods on websites in my account. Now, this is obviously going to be a real pain. Every time I want to pay for something, I'm going to go and get the card and enter the details manually. But I'd personally much rather go through that inconvenience than re-go through this inconvenience of my card data being stolen, no matter how small or big the probability. Because if your account gets hacked for whatever reason, yes, your card details are generally not shown fully, but you never know who you're dealing with in terms of a hacker. Like, data can be stolen at any point, and if your card details are saved in there, they could end up on the dark web and someone could use your credentials to do whatever. Also, if you have a shared account with someone and it's your payment methods being used to pay the bills, if you can avoid sharing your card details on the platform, then great. If not, then just be aware of which shared platforms your details are stored in, so that you can react quickly if something goes wrong. And if you need to close the account for whatever reason or kick someone out the account, then you're thinking, okay, my card details are in there, so I need to take them out. Now, for the next step, it's obviously really important to keep all your information safe. That's your passwords, your login details, your card details as well. So rather than storing them in your individual accounts, what you can do is store them somewhere secure. Now, if you want to store them on your computer, you could perhaps store them using a password manager like NordPass. So I've started using NordPass recently, which has a very high level of encryption. So with NordPass, I can securely store all my personal data, passwords for websites, personal information, and cards if I want. I won't be storing cards, I don't think, in NordPass. So rather than being stored on like Google Chrome or Safari, where it's a lot easier to access them, then they're behind a heavy level of encryption, and it's very difficult to get to them. NordPass as well will also alert you if your credentials for any website have been compromised, so that you can act quickly. That's another step you should take as well. Actually, didn't have it in the video script, but if you are aware of a hack or a data breach, then make sure that your password and your account details, you change your password as soon as possible. So if you think NordPass might be a good solution for you to safely and securely store your personal information and passwords, I'll leave my affiliate link in the video description for you to be able to sign up. And the last step, which was really key in me being able to pick this up early, is regularly check your bank movements. So every day, every 2 days at the very least, making sure, looking through your bank statements, looking through your banking apps. Best case, you have a banking aggregator, you've got all of them coming through there. Have a look through any new transactions. Make sure that you can say, yes, this is because I bought this. This is my subscription for this. And look through each and every transaction and make sure that you're able to look at them and say, yes, I made this purchase. Because if there's something you don't recognize, then it's likely that something's wrong. And that's where, if you're looking at this regularly, then you can act quickly and give yourself the best chance at preventing the fraud from going further and give yourself the best chance at getting your money back. So guys, not a very upbeat video, I know, and I apologize for that. Like I say, 14 euros, you know, it's not going to break the bank for me. I'm not going to end up in financial difficulty because of this. But, you know, when things like this happen to you, it's not nice knowing that, you know, your personal information has been compromised. And I really wanted to make this video to highlight the importance of looking after your personal data and being able to help people if this has happened to you, to be able to deal with the stress and the inconvenience. And in the best case scenario, you know, prevent this from happening to someone else. So leave a comment, guys. Has this ever happened to you, and what steps did you take? Till next time, I'll see you in the next one, and let's get this money.